Hey, everybody, welcome to the podcast. And I am flying solo tonight. So we're going to give this a shot. We're going to see how this goes. This could be one of our all-time awesome and maybe the way we do things going forward. Or it may flame out spectacularly and I'll really start looking for a co-host. But I was going to do it tonight and Bama was going to do it with me. However, he had a plumbing incident, so I'm going to reserve him maybe for next week. And then I talked to Apollo for a little bit, and then my kids kind of wanted to watch a movie with me. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to spend some time with the kids. So I did that, and here we are. So, very much looking forward, though, to giving this a shot. We're going to see how this goes. I've got some topics I want to talk about. Things of that nature, talking a little bit about standard, et cetera, et cetera. So, who knows how this is going to go? Who knows how long the episode's going to be? But I wanted to get something out. So this is all pregame anyway. None of y'all get this. So, wow, Muertes, thank you for the raid. Muertes is raiding. All right, dude, thank you very much. That is spectacular. Thank you, brother. All right, so let's get this thing going here right now. I'm going to switch some screens around so that, I'm looking at the monitor, but I'm also, not that I want to look at myself on camera, but I want to see if somebody chats. So I think I've got things set up. You guys got to see my setup. I've kind of changed things around. I got a 32-inch TV that my aunt had. So I went ahead and mounted that over there, and I took the one that was mounted over there, and I put it above the computer. So now I actually have 4 monitors, including a monster TV up there. So I'm very excited for this. Got things in there. We got things put together. So let's, I gotta nail down. I think I know who's playing tomorrow, but we'll figure that out. All right. So I don't have to have anybody push record. I'm gonna record. Hopefully you guys dig it. If you're watching, please feel free to throw some things in the chat. Give me something to interact with. If you're not, it's cool too, man, if you're catching this later. At the end of this, we'll end the podcast, and then I will open, the 2012 card. So, all right, that's going to be our show here. So let's see how this goes. I'm very excited. Excuse me. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So this could explode fantastically, or this may be cool. So here we go. And I'm going to start recording. Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the DR Casual MTG podcast. I'm your host, Will, not joined by anybody. Yes, we're doing it solo tonight. It is episode 2, and we're just giving this a shot. Hopefully things go well. I'm very, very excited to see it. So, let's go ahead and get right into the untap. All right, before we begin, we'd like to remind you guys that we are a part of the Geek to Geek Media Network. This is a network of geeky content, podcasts, other things promoting positivity and inclusion, as well as just showcasing some really amazing stuff. You have a ton of great content and podcasts for you. Got to check them out, geektogeekmedia.com. That's geekmedia.com, not geek, the number 2. That's a different thing. And nobody here but us chickens. Thanks, Parkman. Also, I want to remind you guys about our Patreon. I took some advice from some of the, a little known secret, obviously, with all the changes going on in the show. We've made some changes to the Discord. There is a super secret area of the Discord where I've put some of my more long-term listeners and people that were really supporting. I made a little secret room for us because I want to make sure that I'm asking for advice from people. And so one of the pieces of advice was to reactivate the Patreon. So again, I recognize the fact that I'm practically a boomer. I have white hair and et cetera, et cetera. So, I get it. So I took that advice. The Patreon is back up. It is active. It is the same Patreon. So if you were a patron before, you still are. If you want to become a patron, go to patreon.com/drcasualmtg, where the DR stands for Dirty Rotten. No, but we're still doing the same things there. We're going to be working on some bonuses and things. I want to kind of want to solidify a little bit the Patreon. I want to do things like, play match shirts, swag, things of that nature. So we're going to look into that. But for right now, I mean, it's just back, and I really appreciate any support you can give because, hey, there are costs, especially the first part of the year as far as domain names and all that. So please check it out, patreon.com/drcasualmtg. I want to also remind you guys about Commander Craft. That's our Tuesday show where we play listeners like you using webcams and four-person Commander. You can find out more on our Discord, discord.drcasualmtg.com. That's right, we've changed the name. Whoa. Welcome to rebranding. No, but discord.drcasual.com or drcasualmtg.com. And you can join us there. We'd love to have you guys. But that's kind of like our untap. I'm just going to let you guys know, like, this is usually where, like, we do some of the haps. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. It's been a crazy week. First of all, I'm really loving the vibe I've been getting from everybody as far as the new direction of the show. Again, special shanks. Yes. Special thanks to Jake for hanging out with us last week. It was really great to have him. If you don't know Jake, you got to check out his show, Cantrip Cartel. You can find it everywhere, anchor.fm/Cantrip Cartel. Just look it up on any podcatcher. They have a really great show. They've got really, really good information. And as we found out last week, Jake is a veritable knowledge of great information. So, and he's amazing on camera, just like Muerta says in our chat. So definitely you want to check him out. Cantrip Cartel. And I'm just saying thank you, guys. This week has been incredibly awesome. I mean, I'm doing the secret layers every day. If you're not subscribed to our channels, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, get subscribed to one. I've been going through these every day. I've been loving life. But that's kind of been it. I mean, we've been getting ready for the holiday season. We had the kids this past weekend. Whoa! Huertas, thank you, my brother. Pledge $5 by Patreon. Thank you very much. We had the kids over the weekend. So we did some great stuff with them, and usually they go back to their dad's on Monday, but we got a call last night that their dad's house has the plague. Oh, God, the shoes. Great. For those of you not watching the video, I have an emote where my wife is throwing a shoe at me because my office used to be next to hers, like in the same room. Our desks were together, and she threw shoes at me occasionally, and, of course, somebody caught and captured that on camera. Joy. And of course I make it an emote because apparently I don't like myself. But in any event, so the kids are still actually here on a Monday, which is very unusual, which is why I almost didn't record tonight. Because, if my kids want time with me, I try to schedule the shows on nights when I know the kids ain't here. But we watched our movie, and it was a wonderful, wonderful holiday classic called Starship Troopers. Yes, apparently my son never caught the propaganda and jingoism and stuff like that inside of Starship Troopers. He said he saw it when he was younger and he never really caught the nuances. I'm like, well, we got to watch that again. And they decided tonight was the night to watch it. So I sat down and watched it with them, and I remembered how much that movie is just horribly acted. But it was a good time. We had a good time. They got new beds and stuff. So I've spent a lot of time being super dad this weekend. We're looking forward to, obviously the holiday season. My wife and I are going out of town next weekend. This coming weekend, we're taking her mother to Seneca Falls, New York, which is the home of the author of It's a Wonderful Life. And they feel like Bedford Falls was based on that. So they have this big festival. It's going to be awesome. But that's kind of what's been going on with me. Let's go from untap into upkeep. Tonight's going to be an interesting show. First of all, again, I am going solo. So I'm just going to talk, and it's going to be what it is. And hopefully you guys aren't in the car already turning off your radios. But stick with us. I think this will be fun. We're going to talk a little bit more. I know this is not something, like, everybody's kind of getting 30th anniversaried out. However, you know what? There's been some new stuff that came up this last week. I want to kind of talk about a little bit of it. In regards to, maybe next steps, and again, how thankful I am for how things went. Then we're going to talk a little bit about LGS Roundup is what I'm going to call it. I want to talk a little bit. I spent some time this weekend at some local game stores in my area, And I just kind of want to talk a little bit about what I'm seeing happening, and I wonder if it's happening with you guys as well. And then we're going to go into combat, where I am seriously not going to talk to myself in combat, so we'll probably pass that. If I end up talking to myself and fighting myself, well, really, this becomes a much more interesting podcast. I'm aware of this, but I also would like to stay with my family as opposed to be, put away somewhere for a while. So we might skip combat. Main 2, I want to talk about standard. We haven't done State of Standard on this show in quite some time, and there's a reason for that. There was an article that was put out a few weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, where there was a gentleman just asking for information about why people have stopped playing Standard. And it was an MTG designer, and they just kind of talked a little bit about that. So I want to talk about what I think is going on with Standard, why I don't think it's the premier format anymore, and how it maybe should be and could be. So Aaron Forsyth, thank you, Parkman. And then I want to touch a little bit on Jumpstart 2022. I've opened some packs. Because I think we spend a lot of time kicking Wizards lately because their products kind of been sucking. But, spoiler alert, Jumpstart's actually, at least the real Jumpstart, not the theme booster Jumpstarts that they've been doing with every set. Spoiler alert, not a bad product. So we're going to talk about that, but that's going to kind of be the show, and the show will take as long as it takes. I'll keep it to at most an hour, but we might be a little shorter because I don't have the back and forth. But let's see how it goes, and you never know. I might be able to just babble myself just as I've done now for the past, 14 minutes. So there is that. But why don't we go ahead and get into the main phase? Main phase. All right, main phase. So, let's talk a little bit about MTG 30. Yes, MTG 30 is the gift that keeps on giving, as much as we might wish it would stop. And when I say MTG 30, I'm talking about the 30th anniversary edition, not the 30th anniversary Secret Lair countdown, which is amazing, by the way. Or the MTG 30 event. Obviously, that was a cluster F of epic proportions. I just want to talk a bit about this 30th anniversary edition. So for those of you that may not have known, may not remember, may have been under a rock, Wizards decided that in conjunction with the 30th anniversary, they would release a product that is basically, they're calling it the opening a beta pack experience, which is basically they have taken all of the beta cards, or most of them, not all of them, put them into a 15-card booster pack, completely random, and are selling them. They're not tournament legal. They have a unique back on the back of them, and they've been selling them to people. They started selling them, I do believe, last Tuesday. And so you could get 4 packs for $999. I say again, $999.
Oh, no.
Yes, oh, no is right. And here's the thing. Everybody has said repeatedly how we talked a lot last week about how tone deaf it is. And it is in this environment, in this culture, in this economy. It's one of the most tone deaf things they've ever done. Well, last Tuesday, I believe it was last Tuesday, or it might have been even Monday. I think we talked about it last week. They started the sale. It was Monday, and it closed within 30 minutes. And a lot of people thought that it meant it sold out in 30 minutes. Well, it's come out this week that in fact that probably is not true. I posted up a tweet and on my on my Discord, citing that there was somebody who said that they kind of hacked into Hasbro or Wizards, got this internal memo that basically said that they had sold only like 1,400 or 1,900, somewhere in there in America. They basically have sold only 25% of their product of this, that they stopped the sale for some reason. They couldn't go into reasoning. All they could do was say that this is what it is. So that's kind of what I want to talk about, because first of all, again, as I said last week, I think it was during one of the box openings I was doing, or card openings I was doing, is that, I am so thankful that, Parkman, we'll talk about that in a second. I'll read what it says. I'm still so very thankful for the fact that if it's true that they weren't selling enough, it was going to be egg on their face, and they stopped the sale. I'm thankful that the community really did rally, because a lot of people said, nobody should buy this, but we know it's going to sell out. Nobody should buy this, but if you buy it, you're going to make money. But you shouldn't buy it because it sends Wizards the wrong message. And if you really love this, activity in this game, you shouldn't be buying this. But we know you're going to buy it, but nobody should buy it. And it turns out that, according to some out there, that nobody bought it. That they sold, I do believe it was 1,900 out of a possible 12,000 they had earmarked for that sale. And Parkman says in the chat right here, he says, I still say there's a chance that they made enough during the sale to pay off the print run and will now give the stuff away as prizes for their big events. I definitely think that's true, obviously. 1,936 comes out to, I ran it through the calculator, basically $2 million. So they made $2 million in sales in something that probably cost them, since it wasn't new artwork, all they were doing was putting on the new borders and the back. Something that probably cost them maybe $2,000, maybe exactly $2,000 to make. It depends on how much it is per card, et cetera, et cetera. But the fact is, $2 million is nothing to sneeze at. But I do believe wholeheartedly that it stopped. I think Wizards knew. First of all, there were people, and I mean, when I say people, I mean Wizards was probably watching social media and YouTube and watching live streams as this was going on. And we were seeing people out there showing how they're throwing things in the cart, they're holding onto the cart, they're waiting in the queue, they're waiting for the cart to expire 30 minutes after they hop in the queue. So that's going to slow down sales. I really believe 100%. Hey, thank you for the follow, by the way, One Gartooth. I believe 100% that something similar has happened, that they ended up with just an incredible, that they ended up with this thing that happened. So, 100%, I believe that the community rallied. And I'm going to choose to believe that. I want to believe that at this time of year. I want it to be positive. So, but if that's true, and if that tweet that I cited it inside our Discord, it's out there. You can find it. No joke. With the ad revenue, it is more bang for your buck tearing the cards on stream or YouTube. That's from Huertas. I don't believe so. Now, there is a guy out there, everybody's been kind of showing it. This guy, he bought the product, or he got given the product in Vegas, and then decided to basically, he destroyed it on air. He ripped them all up. He blanked, he cut them. So he opened them and then he cut them. I guess there's some ad revenue. I mean, this guy has gotten a lot of views on it. But I think if a lot more people had access to this, it would become white noise. Just as, to be quite honest, the railing against all of this over the last 2 months has become white noise. Stats for the Wid were 10 packs right now. I believe it, Muertes. I'm not saying I don't agree with it. I'm just saying that I feel that, I don't know, it's still kind of it's a bad look. I mean, I get it that he got given the product. It'd be one thing if he bought it, then it would be an even worse look. He was given this product. I don't know. Part of me, I mean, I saw Bad Boy Gaming or whatever his name is. I can't remember his name. He's blonde, though. He's kind of fun. He also was given a pack. And he chopped one. He opened 3 and chopped one. And then he gave the chopped ones, he gave, to 2 different listeners, like one half to them, one half to this guy over here. I think that's kind of cool in that regard. Like, if you're going to do something with them afterward, just shredding them and cutting them, it was kind of like, yeah, but I get it. I get why you did it. and I don't want to go at a content creator because he's creating content and he got a ton more views than I have. I'm just talking about it. But I don't know. The whole thing, I just feel good about the fact that the community, and when I say the community, I'm not talking about the content creator community, which I was last week a lot. I'm talking about the community. Really, really rallied around the fact that none of us wanted to do this. And again, there are some whales out there that bought it. Obviously, you sold 2,000 packs in 40 minutes. Odds are good it would be sold out by now if they had kept it up. So the thinking is, and this is what it is. This is what I kind of want to talk about. So let's say that they're right. Let's say that there are something like 12,000, if not even more, Wizards is now sitting on. What's going to happen to all of those packs? I don't know. Nobody knows. I watched a video today by Rudy at Alpha Investments where he was suggesting that somebody had wrote him. So again, third hand now. Wrote him and said that their plan is to send these off to LGSs. To let them, so they're going to send it through the distributor channel, which means they're going to put it out at $600 or $700 to LGSs. Because usually what it is, as I understand it, is LGSs buy product at about 60%. So the question becomes, are they selling this product? Are they going to put this product out at $600, $700? Does that, and here's the thing, if an LGS takes it, they might be able to move one. I could never rip cards, but that is how much emotion is out there for this. I see, Muertes, I agree with you partially, but I also am like, he's getting views off it. He's kind of profiting off it. Where, for me, the emotion is, I'm talking about because it's something to talk about. If I had a pack, I probably would be like, if I got given a pack, I'd probably give it away. I'd probably be like, I don't want this. This is not something I want to encourage. So I'm going to give this away to a listener. I don't know how I do it. I'd probably find some way to do it to where they don't have to subscribe to my channel. Like, I wouldn't want to profit from it, but I'd want to find some way to give it to somebody else who may want to do something with it. And odds are good they would sell it, and I'd be a complete idiot. And I get this because I could sell it and flip it for $1,500 on eBay. Fuck that. It's not my bag. They're talking now, though, about maybe the LGS is getting this through channels. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know that. Like, I think about a store like Kerwin's, which is up here in the capital region of New York. I could see them taking it, and I could see them selling it for less than the $1,000. I don't think they would try to sell it for $1,000. They'd probably try to make a little bit of a profit off it. But I could actually far more likely see them, that's what they're talking about too, is like, if this goes through the LGSs, do they use it as promo material? Do they use it for things like, prize support for an RPTQ or whatever they're calling them these days? That's an interesting question. That would be almost kind of cooler, is that if they weren't trying to sell it, but instead using it as prize support, and I guess I could be okay with that. I mean, here's the thing. People are talking about this. The problem we all, I think, have with this product is that the price point of $999, there's almost no way buying one pack, one 4-pack, one box, there's almost absolutely no way you make your money back, almost assuredly. The only way you do is if you sell it sealed. The minute you open it, and the minute you know what's in there, it becomes a lottery ticket. And that's a thing. That's a thing where, and some people want that. They want the thrill of, kind of gambling. They want to take a chance and they want to see what happens. And hey, I'm gonna roll the dice and let's see if we get a Black Lotus. This is fantastic. And oh, look what I opened. It's a card worth 10 cents. That's the problem. And then you add in the fact that they're proxies. You add in the fact that they're essentially, I should say, proxies. That you add in the fact that they're not able to be game pieces, really. They're collectibles. That's it. It becomes a problem. So I don't know how I feel about this going out through the store channels as much as I do, unless they're going to use it for something like prize support. Because you know what? If they put it through the store, let's say this, okay, if they put it through the store channel, like if Wizard sent me a copy right now, it said, "Hey, Will, we want you to open this on air. You're just starting out again. You're starting over. Planestalkers is gone. Let's give you some views and have you open some of these really great products." I'd have to be like, no effing way, from an integrity standpoint. Now, if I won one at a Friday Night Magic or an RPTQ, then I might open it because I kind of earned it. I kind of like. Do you understand? Like the whole reason I would want to give it away if I was given one would be, I don't like the optic, because I'm so against this. But however, if they're giving it to the LGSs, now I kind of become a little bit more in support of the product, because part of the problem I have with this whole situation has been they're not supporting the LGSs with this. They are bypassing the LGS. They're like, well, we're giving one to each of our premier Wizards Network stores. Well, that's crap. I'm sorry, there are a lot of good stores out there that aren't premier, and that's because, as I understand it, a store like Flights 2 can't become Platinum or Premier or whatever, because Flights 2 has said, no, we're still going to sell sealed product of Journey into Nyx, or sealed product of, Time Spiral, the original, or sealed product. And according to, what I've heard is that Wizards frowns on that. They want you to keep current stock, and they don't really want you to keep sealed product of the older stock, unless you're doing it at such a fantastic markup. So I guess I feel like if they're going to go through and give this to the LGSs and let the LGSs really be a part of the MTG 30 experience, they buy back a little bit of my good feelings about that, really, because I really feel it's important that the LGSs they're local business, guys. They're small business owners, and we got to support them. So, internet back. Well, I didn't know it left. So I that's my thinking anyway. If they can get behind it, if they can start giving money to the LGSs through this, okay, you've got a little bit of my goodwill. But again, these are a rumor. This is something we heard third hand from, so I'm replying something that, or I'm putting information out there that Rudy from Alpha Investments put out from somebody else he heard. So literally, I'm doing this third hand at this point. So take it with a grain of salt. But I hope that kind of what they were planning. I would be like, you know what? Send a bunch of boxes. Having to shut down an LGS that was okay. So having a bunch of boxes and sending those to LGSs, you buy a little bit of my loyalty back. Wernus even said in the chat just now, having to shut down an LGS that was open for 44 years in 2018. I got to see how much WotC bends over the LGS and distributors. They have a long way to go to repair things. You're not wrong. The mystery boosters was a good start. What they did with the mystery boosters in the pandemic, absolutely. Like giving those to the LGSs for free. My friend's LGS, yes. I agree wholeheartedly. I wish that they would do something for the LGSs with this. So again, they buy back a little bit of my good faith if they somehow channel this product to the LGSs. And again, I say it, as I've said all along, you know what? Not for nothing. The LGSs, like, how do you not keep the 30 product on the shelves for a year? Lower the price in point, lower the price per pack, put it on the shelves, and keep it there for a year. Backfill it for a year. The entire 30th anniversary. That would have been fantastic. They would have made more money. They certainly would have made more than $2 million if they had done that. Had they thrown this out through the channels. And by the channels, I don't mean Walmart and Amazon. I get that you got to send a few there. But you know what? Send these to the LGSs. You should have sent them to the LGSs. Put a price point on them of $10 a pack. So charge $6 a pack. Have the LGSs pay $6 a pack for these things. They would have flown off the shelves. And they would be there all year round. I would go into a store and be like, why don't I roll the dice, see if I can pull a Black Lotus today. Here's $10. Let's see what happens. Because that is the fun part. There's no way you can have the feeling of opening a beta pack nowadays, because you know what? I know what's supposed to be in a beta pack. I know what's possibly supposed to come. In 1994 and 93, when I was opening these for the first time, I had no cucking clue what the heck I was doing, what I was supposed to look for. There was no symbol. There was no rarity symbol. You just, you open the card and you're like, hey, oh, the Dragon 15 card special set, Shivan Dragon? Back in the day, they gave a few copies of what were they called? The Dragons 15. I have no idea. I just, and you're not wrong, Muertes. Muertes says as well that anyone who has their ear to the ground with their community can see the obvious like we do. They are just so far removed from us now. Listen, Hasbro is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. I get it. They are removed. The decisions are not, it's not like the decisions are made by, the Hungry Hippos, Duke from G.I. Joe, Optimus Prime, and My Little Pony, okay? The decisions are made by people who looked at a prospectus, put money into it, and their whole point is they better see black ink when they get the money back at the end of the year. I understand how business works. However, the problem is that Wizards being a part of Hasbro, Wizards has lost something. I think, and you know what? I can say this now because my old co-host isn't here, and this is something we always disagreed upon. I don't feel Mark Rosewater has our best interest anymore. I'm putting this out there right now. I don't feel Mark Rosewater is in it for us anymore. I think Mark Rosewater has lost his way. I think he's lost his ability to decide what is good for the game. That he has become a complete corporate shell. Now I understand that he's paid a lot of money to be the voice and the face of Magic, and that, but I think he's lost it. I think he's lost his way. I think he's burned every good faith he had. And yeah, now I am no longer in his world. And yes, where it says after the current events agreed. And yes, From the Vault, that was the name of the product. You're right. The fact is, I think Rosewater has become so corporately minded, and I think it started to change after Eldraine. All right, I used to listen to his Ride to Work podcast and stuff. Ride Home from Work was a different podcast. Tell your friends. I used to listen to the Ride to Work podcast, and you could tell he had a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into Throne of Eldraine, and he put a lot into that. It was things he really wanted to see, and at first, he was very happy with the success of it. But then when he saw how the community backfired on things like Adventures and Oko, and then follow that up with the companions in Ikoria, I think we kind of broke Mark Rosewater. And I think he became like, well, screw this. Wizards writes my paycheck. So F you all. That's just my own thinking, obviously. And I mean, I'd love to talk to the man, I'm sure. I'd love to ask him questions. Would I believe him? No, absolutely not. He's a PR man. But that's kind of his job. He is supposed to be a PR man. He is supposed to go out there and speak and talk to to Magic and to Wizards and to Hasbro. And he's supposed to drum up interest in it. So I get it. However, he was the one on screen when they were presenting the MTG 30th anniversary set. He was one of the people on screen, and the lady who was sitting next to him, when she was talking about stuff, if you watch the body language, she started like, you could tell she was somewhat uncomfortable. Like she kind of was like aware that what was going on may not go very well. Rosewater seemed completely effing clueless about it. Either that or he just doesn't care. He was one of the ones being like, we want to make it like you're opening a beta pack again. We want you to have that feeling of opening a beta pack again. Well, Mark, I opened beta packs, and I'm telling you right now, when I opened beta packs and they were $2.50, that's how it felt. Like I was opening a $2.50 thing, and hey, I might find something that's good and playable, and that was just it back then. I wasn't just collecting. I wanted cards that were good for my deck. I wanted, I was looking for Timmy, man. I had two Timmys and I wanted a third. The Prodigal Sorcerer. I mean, these are the things you were looking for. You can't do that in a $250 deck to somebody who I mean, you're not even trying to sell to somebody just coming into the game, which is what I was in 1993 and 4. You're selling this to somebody who is enfranchised into the game and also has enough, obviously, disposable income to be able to afford that. It's bullshit, dude. You can't say that that's what that is. So why not try and just say we're doing something for the whales and for collectors. And, if he had come out maybe and said, and I can imagine this price point seems a little high, blah, blah, blah. But he didn't. He just was tone deaf. And it's not a good look for him. And again, you bypassed the LGS, which is kind of where I'm going to pivot to next. So also in main one here, I wanted to talk, that's going to be kind of what I'm talking about for MTG 30. I want to talk a little bit about the LGS Roundup because I had an interesting experience this week. So obviously this weekend, Black Friday was last week. And so this weekend it was Take the Boys Shopping Day. Yeah, not every product is for everyone. I'd like one product for me though, please. Is any product for someone? That's the question you have to ask yourself. The LGSs. So this week I took the boys. It was Christmas shopping day. Both of my boys are old enough. They're 22 and 16. They both have their own jobs. So they're old enough to kind of go shopping now, and I'm trying to be like the good stepdad because this is something that they haven't really learned about generosity and things of that nature. So I'm like, okay, no, this year you guys are buying gifts for your family. I'm like, and again, I made sure to go out of my way and be like, yes, even though my birthday's on Christmas, you don't have to buy for me if you don't want to, but you're buying for your mom, your dad. You don't have to buy for your stepmom either. Your mom, your dad, your two sisters, and each other. And your grandparents, at least on your maternal side. They don't really have strong relationships with their grandparents on their dad's side. So, and then I was like, this is what we're doing. Okay, we're going out today and we're doing this. So, their youngest sister is learning to play Pokemon. So of course I'm like, you know what? Let's go to this new local game store in town and see if they have any Pokemon stuff because I want to kind of give them a little business. Their name is called Plunder Gaming in Amsterdam, New York. If you're in the capital region, you may want to check him out. He's got a lot of great product in there. I feel bad for him because, obviously he's just starting out. His location is inside of this very, very creepy mall. And when I say creepy, one of these days I will go in with my cell phone the next time I go in, and I'll walk you guys into this store because... yeah, seriously, it's like something out of Stranger Things. I literally thought my soul was going to get sucked out of me at some point. But the store itself is fantastic. And we went in there and we got in there and it was so neat. This is, I guess, what I want to talk about here because I'll talk about a dichotomy in a minute. But he's so hopeful. It's like he's just starting out. They can't stay open because they're inside this strip mall that closes at 6:30 every day no matter what. So they can't do a Friday night magic. So, and that's hard for him. That's hard for his business if you think about it. Imagine if you had a game store that you couldn't go to on your way home from work if you worked till 7. It's one of those things that, you don't think about. Because, game stores tend to appeal to... medium, lower class, there are some higher class people that go to game stores, but most of those people tend to buy through either dealers or online. But a gaming store tends to appeal to the lower middle class, middle class, or even middle upper class like myself. That, that appeals to them. Now imagine not being able to go in there at 7 o'clock. So he's fighting something. So I took my boys there because I'm like, we need to support this guy, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Why too is that my other local game store in Amsterdam, Professor Bonds, is closing. And so I'm like, listen, I don't want to, I love Kerwin's, but Kerwin's is an hour, hour, 10 minutes down the thruway. I still highly recommend going to Kerwin's, and I will be going to Kerwin's in a few weeks because they're doing a Commander event. or even flights in Albany. But that's another hour and 10. Believe it or not, it's about almost the same amount of time for me to get there, about an hour and 10 minutes. There are a few stores. I mean, Chris in Fort Plain and Gamers Revolt, another store I love, but he's also an hour. So, like, all these gaming stores around me are about an hour away, except for the ones in Amsterdam. So I'm like, I want to go support him, and I'm talking to him, and I'm having a good conversation. But I can tell, too, like, I mean, he's got his life wrapped up in this thing. Like, obviously, this is his shot. This is his life savings. And I realized going in there and being like, well, man, without Friday Night Magic, I mean, he knows. I don't know why I did it. I was kind of a douche. And if you're listening to this, dude, I'm sorry. I hope I wasn't a nozzle. Because your life is wrapped up into this, And so, yeah, my boys and I talked. I'm gonna take them there on a Saturday. I'm like, you know what? We'll get Isabel's boyfriend Logan to come hang out with us. We'll go on a Saturday, and we'll sit in there and we'll jam some Magic games. We'll make sure we stream it, on social media and stuff, so maybe some people will come down and he gets a little business. I want to do something like that. I mean, I love the atmosphere, the hopefulness he has. And then but you counter that with, we finished up there, and we spent a good 45 minutes in there talking, and we bought some stuff, and even I bought some stuff. He has Modern Horizon 2 set boosters. Like, I bought 3 of those. I'm like, absolutely, let's take a shot. And he has, by the way, sealed boxes as well. So, yeah, I mean, he's got stuff. And then I went over to Bonds, because we also wanted to kind of look. A lot of the stuff there is on sale. So my son was like, well, I kind of want to see if I can get a Pokemon Spring deck, for me. And blah, blah. So we went to Bonds, and I wanted to throw a little business their way too. And the dichotomy there between it, because they're closing. And, I mean, it's happening. December 17th is their last day. It's sad. Like, I was saddened by it. I mean, everything's almost like 20 or 50% off at this point. I got a cool gaming playmat I'll be using tomorrow night. But, I mean, it's one hand you want to buy stuff to help them, but then the other hand you're like, I feel like I'm ripping you off for buying things at 50% off, even though I know it's actually helpful to them. It's sad. It's sad. I mean, and now they're not closing, I don't think, due to business reasons. There might be some. As I understand it, they want to close. Like, there's just been changes in the family dynamic. They were a family-run store. And they've had some changes, and they want to make some changes. I mean, I've said it before, the owners of this, Anastasia, who we've had on the show, they're young. They're like in their 20s. And so, there were times where I was like, okay, as old school as I am, like, I felt a little out of place at times in Bonds, because I'm like, man, ain't nobody else here with white hair, right? Nobody else white hair? Nope, nobody? Well, shit. So, there were times there where I felt, but I mean, I still loved it. They had such a great atmosphere, and they still do. So I want to support the Amsterdam one because Bonds is leaving. So, but it really kind of threw some things into perspective for me about the LGSs. They are small businesses, and people have their lives wrapped up in these things. So I highly recommend, if you get the chance, guys, you got to go to your LGS. You've got to find your LGS. You need to be there. You need to be there. And John just sent me a video in my Facebook chat I'll look at later. You need to go in, and you need to, you need to find your community if you can. Now, not every LGS is your community. Like, I've gone into a few stores where, I'm like, okay, these aren't my people. I mean, they're my people, but it's not like where I feel most comfortable. Like, I love gaming at Kerwin's. I love gaming at Flights. When I went out to Gamers Revolt a few times, I had great time, but it just felt like I don't know why, and I can't explain it. It's an untangible thing. There are other people that, to them, that store is their home and stuff. So, you got to find your place. Bonds would be the same thing for me. Like, I'd go to Bonds for releases. I'd go to Bonds for events. But, I mean, I wasn't going there every week. They like to play a lot of Modern. Well, I don't have Modern decks. I mean, I could put one together, but can I compete? No. And do I have the money? No. Do I want to put 4 Ragavons in a deck? Fuck no. So, there's that. But, I encourage you to find an LGS that you can support, that you can become a part of the community. Because, I mean, that's the key, I think, to any LGS is building that community. So me and my boys, we're going to go down to Plunder Gaming sometime, and we're going to sit down, and we're going to jam some games and start trying to maybe build a community there. Not for any, duplicitous reasons or anything like that. It's just, you know what? I'd like to have a community. Oh, look at this. Of your channel viewers, oh my gosh. Really? Oh, that didn't take long. And you are blocked, sir. Yeah. Yep. Oh, forgive me, people watching this here on the stream. I'm going to deal with this right now because this guy, yeah, we got a bot, and now I have to basically figure out how to get him the hell out of my bot system. I'm very pissed off. FGC Vendetta, I wouldn't come and help you in a million years right now. I wouldn't take because you know what? You're coming in the middle of my show, and you're telling me, hey, go to Doge. No, you need to fall off the planet. And now I'm trying to figure out how the hell do I do this inside the web? I thought I was supposed to have chat stuff here, using in chat. Pop out. Let's try popping this out. So again, I'm sorry, folks, for this. This is horrible content, but I'm not letting this guy stay in my freaking, this pisses me off right now. So, Stream Manager. Yeah, I'm in Stream Manager. That's weird. Manage polls, start a prediction, manage goals, clip that. Yeah, I right click and nothing happens. Do I maybe click him and follow, whisper, gift a sub, manage suspicious user? Manage suspicious user. Restrict him. Yeah, you're restricted. And then I want to delete that. So, yeah, he's restricted. Whatever that means. Then I'm going to gift him a sub. Actually, let's ban his ass. All right, you've been banned, sir. Yeah. Power. Back to the people. Yeah. Jerk. And I think I can do this in here. Inside my restream chat, too. So it's going to stay on the stream. Please don't, use that guy's stuff, because that's just sucky. Don't be on my thing. Okay, I forget where I was. Okay, so no. Find your LGS. Go to your LGS. Be a part of the community. That's what I wanted to talk to you about today. Let's take a minute, and I will edit all that stuff out in the audio later. Write this down. I'm going to take a second, play a real quick commercial. We'll come back and do main 2, so don't go away.
When toxic culture has you down.
When you're just looking to laugh and have fun.
Kick back and enjoy watching a video game.
Or just make some new friends.
It's time to visit the Geek to Geek Media Network,
a community of podcasters, streamers, and bloggers.
Well, more of a family than a community.
All dedicated to geeking out about the things we love. Things like
video games,
Star Wars,
comics,
movies,
K-pop,
Disney Plus,
Keanu Reeves,
No.
Or whatever our community decides is the next best thing.
That's right. We have a great online community on Slack and Discord where we chat about our weekly geekery with listeners and viewers.
and each other.
Yep, and each other in real time, and we can't wait for you to join us.
So come check us out at geek2geekmedia.com.
and escape toxic fandom for something much more...
Keanu?
Yes, Keanu.
Combat phase.
And now I proceed to talk to myself for 20 more minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Let's go to main 2.
Main phase.
All right, main phase 2. So I want to talk about really the point of the topic I really want to get into tonight. And so I'm just going to get into it here is standard. I want to talk about this. Now, many of you know when I first started playing Stalkers with Aramis many years ago that I wanted to make a podcast that focused on standard because there wasn't a lot of content for standard. There was a lot of content for modern. There was a lot of content for legacy. A little smattering here and there for commander, but there wasn't much for standard. And if you were new to the game and you were coming back like I was and like Aramis was, standard was your gateway, man. That was how we got into playing again. So I wanted to have kind of a show where we kind of focused on standard. And you know what? We were very successful. We really were. And so it was great. And then the pandemic happened really. And I don't know that it was just the pandemic. I think a lot of this had to do with the post-war, the Spark standard too. I mean, we got the Throne of Eldraine standard followed by Ikoria and the problems with the companions and things of that nature. Standard took a major hit, and then you throw in that the pandemic happens in 2020 and they stop pretty much all in-person play for almost a year and a half. Standard was I'm not going to say dead, but yeah, Standard took a major hit. So then about a month or so ago, Aaron Forsyth, who is, well-known Magic persona and stuff with this, he took to Twitter and he said, over the past few years, Standard play has dried up in many stores. He said that he had his own list of possible reasons for why this has happened. However, they didn't want to merely add to the quiet speculation. Instead, Forsyth turned to the MTG community at large, stating, "I'd love to hear from you about your store community. Why has sanctioned Standard play declined relative to other formats in your store?" And of course, a litany of responses in Twitter. A litany. And we talked about it a little bit, I think, during the 151st episode during Extra Life. But I kind of want to talk about it a little more because it hasn't improved. Here's the thing. Standard right now is somewhat healthy. It really is. You're able to play a lot. There's not a lot of bannings. I think there's one card right now banned in Standard, which is unusual. Because for a while there we were banning a crap ton of cards. But I mean, you're seeing like some mid-range decks, some Sacrifice, which is more combo-y. There's a mono blue tempo, mono red aggro. There's this, a Soldier's deck, which sounds like a token deck. There's some things going on in Standard. The thing about it is that nobody's playing it in paper. Nobody is. Even Kerwins, who, again, I love them, and I need to talk to them because I want to make sure they're still sponsoring the show because I freaking love Kerwins. Their Friday Night Magic has always been Commander or Standard. You could pay, blah, 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 one for each. And I used to always go for the Standard events. It's why I went out there. I was like, I can construct a Standard deck and practice Standard here? Absolutely. And then 2020 happened, and I got really into playing Commander. Now when I go to Kerwins, I play Commander. And I think I don't think I'm alone. I think I'm actually somewhat typical in this regard. And so I want to kind of talk about what it might. I don't want to talk about how we got here because I think we all kind of know how we got here. I think the perfect storm, as John says in the chat, of bad stuff. Again, a few bad sets, a lot of bannings, because they amped the power level, and then the pandemic resulting in this. But I mean, Wizards made some choices too. They stopped even before the pandemic. They had really slowed down GP coverage, and that's part of it. Is that a lot of us would watch Twitch streams about GP coverage live. You would watch it because you'd want to see how the decks were played. And there is something to Paper Commander that you don't see in Arena. Because I do feel that competitive Magic should not be on Arena. Because Arena will make sure you hit every trigger. Arena's going to make sure it takes away a piece of the human factor and the human element. I talk about it often that before the pandemic, a buddy of mine and I, we hosted an event at Kerwin's, a modern event. And we're watching it, and a guy throws down an Ashiok, right? And Ashiok says you can't search your deck. But we knew that in the other guy's hand, he had a fetch land. And sure enough, we're like, oh God, I hope he doesn't play that fetch land and pop it. And sure enough, plays the fetch land, pops it, can't search his deck. It was and he came downstairs afterward. He's like, yeah, man, that was a bonehead move on my part. That's something you can't do in Arena. Arena will keep you from doing that. They'll ask, are you sure you want to do this? So that's part of it for me. So I guess, for me, I want to talk about how Standard can be fixed. And I think it has to go with an idea of, first of all, I think they have to move standard back to paper for any and all coverage. GPs, RPQs, all of that stuff. Worlds should have been in paper. There is something to paper Magic that you cannot get in Arena. Even sitting with each other across two tables with a monitor in front of you, you lose something. So I think if they want to fix Arena, or if they want to fix Standard, that's the first thing. Second thing is, yeah, you got to cover every little event, every GP, every RPTQ, every PPTQ. You need to be covering those. They need to be on Twitch again. It means putting out a little bit of money and making sure that those events, again, are in paper and are standard, not Pioneer. I think that's one of the things that they have to do. I think they have to start, really pimping standard again. Not just through that, but through other means. You've got to start having, pros really talk about standard in some way. And I'm not sure how to do that. But Parkman's got an idea. He says the issue with standard in late 2022 is that the premier sets, stuff that is standard legal, is still being developed to try to sell to all consumers, which means the few cards that are designed with Commander, Pioneer, Modern, etc. in mind warp the format and drive the price of those few cards up. Yes, you are not wrong about that either. Standards, and you want to fix standard sets need to be standard again. It means, an Omnath Locus of Creation is the exact card you want to point to. There is no doubt in my mind that card was designed for Commander. There's no way that card was designed for Standard. It was designed for Commander, and it was designed maybe for Modern, but definitely Commander. And you can't convince me otherwise of that. Even something like Nexus of Fate, that was a card that warped Standard, but it also warped a shit ton of other formats. Oko. My God, you had somebody win a game with a Black Lotus. Okay? Some of it is designed to. You have to design for Standard, especially if you're going to introduce rotation as you have in other formats. I'm sorry. Really, Modern Horizons should be renamed to We Want to Rotate Standard 2023. Or We Want to Rotate Modern 2023. Because it's introducing rotation. It warps Modern every time a new set comes out. When Modern Horizons 3 comes out, it's going to... the cards in Modern right now won't mean a dickin' thing. It's just going to be lame. You have to. You have to then, if you're going to do that, and we can't play Modern cards in Standard, then make it so Standard is Standard. And you know what? Some of those cards in Standard, you're not going to sell a ton of them. But you know what? If you do the other, and that's part of it too, is that I understand from a business perspective, Parkman, the problem with that is that the problem you present is that right now they have not justified the marketplace for Standard anymore. Nobody's playing it. So if you make Standard sets that are Standard focused and you haven't built the marketplace back up for Standard, you've got a problem. Because now the premier sets are going to be sitting on the shelf. It's a problem. I think Strixhaven was the best thing for it. If they really wanted to do stuff, what they should do is, like a Mystical Archive, they should introduce cards that are not standard legal in these sets, that are meant to be in other sets, and be like, so in Phyrexia All Will Be One, that there are some cards in those sets that are only Commander legal or only Eternal format legal. You'll still sell them, but then you also encourage people to not get the Standard warped. But again, until you start building up Standard again, and again, the only way I think you're going to do that is pro play. And they still haven't broken this code yet. In that, as far as I know, pro play is still somewhat broken. Obviously, we're not doing Arena anymore. They're not doing the Arena leagues and stuff like that. So they need to get pro play back into, and then you need to do it in Standard. You need to have these guys playing in Standard, because then that's going to make all these other podcasts talk about Standard. They're going to talk about these events, and they're going to have to analyze how Standard works, and maybe they get excited about it. And then maybe you start selling a little bit more. But until you do that, until you build the market for Standard, you're going to have a problem with Standard. So, and again, I think it should be twofold. Yes, you want to introduce like an Omnath Locus of Creation in a Standard set, make it non-standard legal. Make it the buy a box promo, which is what they used to do. Make it a mystical archive, which they have already done. Something to that effect is what you need to do. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that they can't make people care about Standard until it stops being warped. Standard's not warped right now. Standard is not warped right now, I don't believe. Like, people thought Liliana of the Veil was going to warp Standard. She's in one deck. All right, Standard is somewhat healthy. Now, Grixis mid-range, according to MTG Goldfish, is holding on to 33% right now. Okay, that's a Shieldred problem. Shieldred's a card that should have been in Commander only. Shieldred does cause problems in Standard. I give you that. To buy 3 Shieldreds is 161.70. Okay, that's a problem. But otherwise, as per mid-range, Grixis mid-range, all these other mid-range decks, this is kind of what you want to see in a Standard set. So, yeah, you have to build the market again for Standard, and you have to do it slowly. You should be encouraging your Wizard stores with maybe monstrously awesome promos for Standard-only play. And again, you could track Standard-only play because of the companion app. So don't tell me you can't have stores try to fire events for Standard. And, I don't know what it is. And they're going to sit there and say, well, the people won't come out and play Standard. They will if you start building the product. You have to build the product again. How did you get us to play Standard the first time? When I left Magic, there was no Standard. There was no Modern. There were no formats. It was Draft, Limited, or you just constructed. That was it. This stuff all happened later. So you can do it. You just have to decide to do it. And you have to change how you do things. And it's hard to put the baby back in the bottle. You really shouldn't put a baby in the bottle, I guess. But it's hard to put you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. But you got to do something. Or Standard's going to die. Standard will become Pioneer. And Type 2 becomes a product availability. Yeah, I get you there. Or it becomes Pioneer. And I guess I'm okay with that. I'm okay because Pioneer feels somewhat eternal. But it's eternal, but it's already introduced some rollover because of the Standard cards being legal in Pioneer. But I like the idea of Standard. I think Standard is a great entranceway into Magic. Now, with these new cards, and we could talk about this too, the Commander starter decks or whatever they're calling them, Beginner Commander, I feel like Wizards is walking away from Standard anyway. I think that Wizards is going to start moving towards Commander being your entryway, which is an interesting idea. Not sure how I feel about it. I love playing Commander, but it is a different mindset from playing Constructed. Like Pioneer, Standard, Modern, Legacy, Vintage. It is a different mindset. And because of one card, only having one card, et cetera, and the color identity and the color limitations. Like, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm playing Arena again. I've been playing Arena a lot, actually. I've been playing Explorer because I don't want to play Standard. And I don't have a lot of cards that I would need for Standard. So I'm playing Explorer to kind of build up my gold and stuff again because I'm certainly not going to throw money at Arena. But I've been playing Arena again. And there are times where I'm playing Arena where I'll look at a deck, or, I'll be playing a deck and I'll be playing this guy and he'll be throwing stuff. And then he'll throw a card out that has a red in it or something. And they're playing, black, green. And I'm like, wait a second, what the? Oh, yeah, that's right. There's no restrictions. It's a different mindset for Magic. I think there's value in the constructed formats. I'd like to see the constructed formats come back to prominence. Right now, Commander is the big thing. I get that. But I miss Standard. I'm thinking about how to work Standard back in. I do think that was something we did with our old show that was actually really good. I don't think the State of Standard works per se because I'm not playing it much. So maybe it is things like this where we have discussions about the format as an abstract, as more instead of as a bird's eye. I don't know. Let me know what you think. So finally, one last thing I want to talk about is Jumpstart 2022, man. It launched last week. Launched last Friday. And I got to tell you, okay, I was prepared to hate this product. Only time I played Standard is your tournaments. I know, Parkman, or Muertes, I get it. I want to talk about Jumpstart because I'll tell you, I was a little nervous because, let's be honest, what Wizards did was they, with Dominaria United and moving forward, they stopped the theme boosters. They threw the Jumpstart name on it, and that's it. And so Dominaria United Jumpstart is just a theme booster. And Brothers War Jumpstart it's a theme booster. So I got a little nervous with Jumpstart 2022. But I got to tell you, I was wrong. 2022 is worth it. It's a lot of fun. It's fun to open the decks. It's fun to see what you get. And I can see the gameplay aspects. As far as that, I haven't been able to play with the boys yet, but I want to try to set that up at some point because I think that's fantastic. Maybe that's what I'll do in that guy's store if we go. I'll be like, hey, you have Jumpstart packs, and get the guys playing that because they hate playing my constructed decks because I've got good cards and they don't. So, but yeah, I definitely highly recommend it if you haven't. Pick up a couple of packs from a local game store. Don't go to Walmart. Yes, they're there. Go to the game store, man. Help them out, man. So, but yeah, definitely want to talk about that. So that's kind of our show, man. And I got an hour in. This is kind of great. So let's go ahead and hit end step here, and we'll back this train out.
End step.
All right, so as I'm rolling up my play mats, putting the cards back in the boxes, taking the pizza box over the trash, because damn it, your mother still does not work in this burned dairy, which is a local reference. Haha. I want to remind you that we have a Twitch channel where we stream all sorts of content. I'm streaming daily, which I will as soon as this podcast is over. The Secret Lair 30th Anniversary Edition. I am streaming that every day. Just look up the Benson MTG channel on Twitch. That will change to DR Casual at some point, but I made the change after the whole split, and I have to wait like 30 or 60 days. So Benson MTG on Twitch right now. And there you'll see all the shows we do on Magic as well as other geeky games. I do stream a little bit of Minecraft there every now and again. It's a whole lot of fun. If you'd rather interact with us in real time, join the Discord. Discord is located at discord.drcasualmtg.com. There are some really awesome people there. They hang out. They're really fun. A DR Casual MTG flash mob? Sure, why not? Come on out, Muertes. You're welcome here anytime. Upstate New York. Hang out with us. We do a lot of stuff in there. I'm on there every day. And so is everybody else. I mean, it gets a little quiet. Obviously, it's the holiday season. But as soon as I can get some sponsorships again, as far as I'd like to do another Win-A-Box. So, but it's also where we set up things for our Commander Craft, which is our Tuesday streaming broadcast, where we play 4-person Commander. For tomorrow night, I think it's Muertes. I think it's I got 4 people somewhere. I forget who they are, but I do think I have 4 people. So, he's got to check that again. So, but yes, you know what? I'm going to do that right now. So, yeah. It looks like Huertas is in, Kinetic is in, and I'm playing Krenko. And then I think I found a 4th one. If not, I'll make sure to find one. So, but we'll go over that. But that'll be tomorrow night, 7 p.m. You're not going to want to miss that. Also, if you like, you can, if Twitter's more your speed, you can find us on at DR Casual MTG on Twitter. I tweet as much as I'm able to. I'm in charge of the Twitter now, so that used to be my co-host job, but I'll find things to put there from time to time. You can also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/drcasualmtg. And, again, we hope you really show up for Commander Craft tomorrow night. Finally, you can send an email to the show if you have a question or suggestion for a topic. Even deck analysis, I'm not as in depth as Aramis, but I can give it a shot. Just our address is podcast at drcasualmtg.com. You can also email me personally, will at drcasualmtg.com. But on that note, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. This was my first solo outing. I hope it was all right. I will be back at some point next week. Hope to have a co-host sitting seat number 2, but if I don't, it'll be me. We'll be talking about, well, something. I'm sure I'll come up with a topic before then. But for hanging out tonight, thank you guys so much just for being with us. I will be back. Make sure you check us out tomorrow night. We'll be on all these stations. And hang around after this show if you're watching us live, because I'm going to open the 2012 version of the Secret Lair. So we will see you guys later. Take care of yourselves. Have a great holiday season. And remember to keep some of your mana untapped because you never know when you'll need it. Take care and talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right, I'm out. Yes. All right, that's an episode. I should listen to the levels later, so I will. I'll keep that up. Well, I'll save it. Let's save that file just in case. Export project as audio file. Desktop. This will be episode 2. Wow, okay. Guys, thanks for hanging. We're going to do this box opening real quick here, so... I'm just going to go ahead and I think I'm not going to stop the stream because it's not going to make a new one. So we'll just do it right here. So, but I hope you guys dug that. I had a good time with it. Let me know what you guys think about the one-man show. Cause it's a little different, but I'm going to move my camera over to my more Commander Craft location as well as opening decks. So there's that. All right. So, let's go ahead and start. We're going to open this bad boy up. So, all right. And let's show our cards here. All right. So, I think I moved the camera today. Yeah, I did. I'm going to have to recenter that tomorrow. Yay. Oh, hold on a second. Alexa, turn off Will's office.
Okay.
All right. So, all right, here we go. 2012. So again, I guess I don't have to pad this show out this time. So I don't have to be like, I remember 2012. It was a wonderful time. It was a shitty time. I was getting divorced. All right. So 2012. I did not do research on what sets came out in 2012. So you guys will let me do that, I'm sure. 2012 it was the 20th year of, yeah. Wasn't the 20th? It was the 19th. That was Dark Ascension, Avacyn Restored, Magic 2013, so Core Set 2013, and then Return to Ravnica. Oh, shit. Okay, then. All right, well, let's see what we got here. This is going to be exciting. So, hopefully something cool. As you guys have seen, by the way, I'll just refresh your memories. This is what we've opened so far. Again, I'm really excited for this middle row so far. And yesterday I opened the Elspeth. So let's see what we get in this one. Please do not, don't spoil me if you know. And again, I'm going to be very careful here. Wait, does this have a groove? No groove. Okay. I don't know why I try. I keep expecting that it's going to, magically I'm going to find one deck that I don't have to cut. All right. So I do like the prettiness of this, like the silver on the blue. But okay, anyway. Let's here we go. The 2012 card is Deathrite Shaman. Yes. Oh, okay, that's fire. I'll take that. Look at the artwork. It's the black and white like Innistrad treatment of Deathrite Shaman. Oh, that's a good card, man. That is a staple. That is a part of almost every elf deck. That's a part of it. Yeah, wow. Holy crap. Exile target land from a graveyard. That's beautiful in a lot of commander decks. For just to tap it. A black and tap, you can exile target instant or sorcery from a graveyard, and each opponent loses 2 life. Green in the tap, exile target creature card from a graveyard, and I gain 2 life. Fantastic card. Fantastic. And again, not foil. Will not bend. This is 100% going to be in decks. Oh man, am I glad I opened. Oh, you know what? Again, those of you other content creators out there who open this in one fell swoop, I'm sorry, you're missing out, man. This is the way you open this pack, man. Oh, I'm so excited. That is so cool. So, right there, we're up to 2011. So, tomorrow will be some 2011 stuff. I'll probably open that before Commander Craft. I'll probably do it early in the afternoon so that I can have 2 different films of it. Because, I mean, anybody who's following this on YouTube, I might cut part of this and put a different video up for YouTube. Because, I mean, I want people to be able to find it later. But, yeah, wow, that is awesome. 2011 was when I closed my store. Oh, Parkman. Oh, that's sad. Well, Parkman, because you closed your store in 2011, I'm going to take the card tomorrow, and I'm going to put it in my binder. I'm not going to give it to you. I thought you were going to. I bet you thought I was going to say that, but I'm a jerk. No, I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, guys, I really appreciate everything. I'm glad you guys hung out. If you're in the producer's channel with me, please give me feedback tonight and be as hard-hitting as you need to be. If there are things I shouldn't do, things, I mean, this could become a solo show for a while. I don't know how things are going to fly. And even not, if you're not in this, please come to the Discord or send me an email. Let me know what you think of the show. But this episode's going to go up. I think it was good enough to make an audio episode tonight. So I'm going to definitely do that. Guys, thanks so much for hanging. Thanks for sticking with me during this. Look, I mean, it's awkward. There's no way things aren't awkward. You see a pair of friends and, the show ends and one of them keeps going. There's an awkwardness that I'm acknowledging is there. Oh, hey, Flights 2, thanks, brother. He's liked the stream. So there's an awkwardness, and I 100% acknowledge that. But thanks for hanging. Really, it means a ton to me. I love broadcasting and I love talking about Magic. So I'm going to keep doing this as long as I know that there are people out there listening. So tomorrow night's Commander Craft. I need to make sure I still have 4 people. Hopefully tomorrow night will be a lot of fun. I'm playing Krenko. I think Nick was talking about trying to come back with a deck that can beat it. So I got to check in with him. So I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Have a great night. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for being a part of the stream. Where it is, Parkman. Thanks for being a part of the show. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night, and we'll see you